Welcome. Today, we're diving into history, but we're not just going to rattle off a list of dates and famous battles. Nope, we're going to look at the handful of moments that truly changed the game, the turning points that rewired our world and set us on the path we're on today.
So, let's start with a big one. What really changes the course of history? Is it all about a powerful king or a single decisive battle? Well, if you look closer, you start to see there's a deeper pattern, a hidden engine driving everything.
And here's the key takeaway. History isn't just one random thing after another. The biggest, most profound shifts are driven by three kinds of revolutions. Revolutions in how we think, revolutions in how we live, and revolutions in how we connect.
Okay, let's start with the first one, revolutions in knowledge. These are the big shifts that don't start on a battlefield. They start in someone's mind, with a single idea that completely flips our understanding of the universe on its head.
And what's so cool is how these ideas build on each other. So back in 1543, you have Copernicus who dares to say, hey, maybe we're not the center of everything. That was the spark. But it took more than 100 years for Isaac Newton to come along and turn that spark into an absolute bonfire with his Principia Mathematica.
And you can't overstate how huge this was. This wasn't just some book. It was basically the new instruction manual for the cosmos. For the first time, we had the math to explain why planets move the way they do, why the tides come in and out. It laid the groundwork for centuries of science.
But think about it for a second. A brilliant idea is totally useless if it's stuck in one person's head, right? For an idea to actually start a revolution, it needs to get out there. It needs a way to spread like wildfire.
And that's where the Gutenberg printing press comes in. This machine was the engine for the revolution in knowledge. It was a total game changer. Suddenly, you didn't have to be a king or a priest to read a book. Information was democratized, fueling the Renaissance, the Enlightenment. Honestly, you can draw a straight line from this invention to so much of what came next.
All right, so changing our minds was a massive first step. But the next type of revolution is all about changing how we actually live our day-to-day lives. Everything from our chances of survival to the very values our societies are built on. Take a look at this number. 200 million. That's the high-end estimate for how many people died during the Black Death. It's just staggering. It was so devastating that it completely broke the old feudal system. With so many people gone, workers were scarce, and for the first time, peasants could actually demand better pay and more rights. It completely upended the social order.
And then there's our fight for survival. Before Edward Jenner, smallpox was this constant, terrifying threat. But then he comes along with the world's first vaccine. It wasn't just about stopping one disease. He literally invented the science of immunology and set us on a path that has saved, and I mean this, billions of lives. It totally changed our relationship with the natural world.
But these social revolutions weren't just about staying alive. They were also about deciding how we wanted to live together. We started rewriting the rulebook.
And a powerful example of that is the Civil Rights Act of 1964. This wasn't just a small policy tweak, it was a moral earthquake. It made discrimination illegal, it officially dismantled segregation, and it sent a powerful message that inspired fights for justice and equality all over the globe. Which brings us perfectly to our third and final theme, revolutions in connection. These are the big technological leaps that basically made the world smaller, collapsing distance and time and completely changing how we relate to each other.
It all started with something pretty simple, something we totally take for granted now, the telephone. But just imagine the leap, going from tapping out a message in Morse code to actually hearing a loved one's voice in real time from miles and miles away. It was magic.
The next jump was, well, literally, out of this world. When the Soviets launched Sputnik, that little beeping sphere orbiting the Earth, it changed everything. It kicked off the space race, which was really a race to fill the heavens with the very technology that would one day connect the entire planet. And the craziest part is that the race to the moon gave us all these incredible gifts right here on Earth. The need to build tiny, powerful computers for the Apollo missions, that directly led to the PC on your desk and the smartphone in your hand. Not to mention GPS, satellite TV, and weather forecasts that are actually right. All of that is a byproduct of reaching for the stars. And, of course, that all leads us here, to the ultimate connection machine, the internet. This is the one that put it all into overdrive. It created a global, instantaneous network that has completely reshaped, well, everything. How we work, how we fall in love, how we learn, it's all been transformed. And you know, sometimes these revolutions connect in unexpected ways. The same science that created the atomic bomb also unlocked the power of the atom for energy. Today, about 9% of the world's electricity comes from splitting atoms, a complicated, powerful, and pretty controversial legacy of that particular revolution.
So, after all that, revolutions in knowledge and society and connection, where does that leave us now? Well, the thing is, we're right in the middle of another one. It's happening as we speak.
Some scientists have started calling it the Anthropocene. And what that means, in simple terms, is that for the first time in Earth's history, the main force changing the planet isn't volcanoes or ice ages, it's us. Human activity is now so dominant that we are literally leaving a scar on the planet's geology that will be visible millions of years from now.
This quote, which is often used to talk about the fall of Rome, just hits different today, doesn't it? As we grapple with the massive challenges of our time, it's a pretty stark reminder that with all our incredible interconnected power comes an incredible amount of responsibility.
So we've seen how these revolutions in thought, society, and connection have shaped our past and created our present. The big question we're left with is, what's next? What revolution is just around the corner, waiting to define our future? Something to think about. Thanks for digging into this with us.